What is going on, guys? It is the Father Son Fantasy Football Podcast. We're here recording this on a Monday, right when Monday Night Football is happening. You guys are new. We do 3 episodes per week, and today's the waiver wire episode. You can follow me on Twitter at JustinFSFF. Paul is not here for the intro, but he's going to be here for the interview. We were joined by Michael Reedy, fantasy football enthusiast, just like most of you are. And I'm going to have his Twitter linked in the description below. He's going to shout it out at the end. Really fun episode. We got you a couple of waiver wire gems, and I'm happy Stephon Diggs went off yesterday. But before we get into that, I'd like to thank our sponsor, the Quant Edge. So if you're tired of getting crushed by DFS pros, sports bettors, listen up. Go over to quantedge.com. They have the tools you need to play like a pro and win some money. They have a lineup optimizer. You can make up to 150 lineups in seconds. They have a wide receiver quarterback matchup. They have injury tool. All these tools you're going to need to win. Great articles, premium membership chats, and you can get involved with the community. They also have a DFS chat that is going on weekly, and they're there all the time with Elliot and other writers on thequantedge.com. So if you guys want to save some money and then win some money, you head over to thequantedge.com, use promo code FSFF for $10 off your first month, and I'll be tweeting it out. Again, you can follow me at JustinFSFF. And just like that, the last 4 letters, FSFF, are the tools you need to use. Use that promo code right now. And without further ado, let's get into this interview. All right, and today for our waiver wire episode, we are joined by Michael Reedy. What's going on, Michael?
What's up, Michael?
Just enjoying the Red Sox victory last night, and I have the Patriots on in front of me while I talk to you guys right now.
Yeah,
you had to throw all that in there, didn't you? Yeah, I love it.
You got to celebrate when you can. As Giants fans, we can't really celebrate because Eli right now is definitely the worst quarterback in football, I think I could safely say. So speaking of quarterbacks, Dad, who are you looking to add on the waiver wire this week for quarterback?
You know,
there's a few.
Nobody really. If you were going to add a quarterback, I would say you can probably add Derek Carr this week because he's going up against the 49ers defense. So they've allowed a lot of fantasy points to opposing QBs. So if you're looking at anyone, that's probably who I would take just for a 1 week start.
Yeah, you got Andy Dalton on bye, Andrew Luck, and Carson Wentz. So if you're looking for a bye week replacement, he is off a QB1 rank after week 8 against the Colts, which he surprisingly did well. So I don't mind that pick. Michael, you looking to add anyone else on waiver wire?
I have Carr in my top 3 that I would look at. He's only owned in like 26% in Yahoo leagues as well. Obviously Ryan Fitzpatrick, since he's going to start for the Bucks and there's going to have a high volume passing attack there, I think he's somebody you want. What do you have? 194 yards and 2 TDs in really limited play yesterday. Joe Flacco, somebody who's out there in a lot of leagues as well, and he has a great rest of season schedule. So, he's a good add too.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't say Ryan Fitzpatrick. Good. You didn't say Conor McGregor, Dad. What happened there? That's your guy. Well, he's back.
They did the right thing by benching Winston. I mean, he's had so many turnovers the last 2 games. They had to make a change, and Fitzpatrick, Conor McGregor made up for his time in there.
Some of us needed only 1 more point out of Winston to win in our home leagues, and didn't get it yesterday. So I could have went for one more completion for 10 yards or more would have been nice.
That's not how you want to lose.
So that wasn't good for you when they pulled him.
No, not at all. But it had to happen after that pick 6. I mean, that was what are you gonna do?
I don't know what kind of throw that was. I'll throw one more in there, and that's gonna be Baker Mayfield. Hugh Jackson gone, Todd Haley gone. I don't know who they're gonna bring in. Rumor is Jeff Fisher, and I don't want to see that, but that's the rumor right now. Could happen, but they did face the Chiefs this week, which means they're gonna be down by probably 50 plus. Who knows? So I see Baker Mayfield throwing the ball 40 plus times, and I'm hoping some of the volume will equate to fantasy points, and then he's also going to face the Falcons in week 10. So 2 good matchups right there, I think, can help people with bye week replacements and whatnot. Well, let's go on to running backs and wide receivers now. Start with running backs. There are more people to add than just quarterbacks. So, Michael, give us a running back you're looking to add this week on the waiver wire.
Well, one guy I think I'm looking to add as kind of a hold, well, maybe 2 off of the same team, but Josh Adams. And then I think you have Smallwood, both readily available out there. Adams played a really good game the other day. What, he had 61 yards on 9 carries, and Smallwood got most of the carries, which means, that wonderful Corey Clement ad that everybody had a few weeks ago was probably worthless. Um, but those are two guys I think you should be looking to add. Hopefully the offense where Mayfield passing will get Duke Johnson used a bit more. He's out there in a lot of leagues as well. I think he's only owned in like 47% of the Yahoo leagues.
Yeah, those are Smallwood, definitely a great pickup. And Josh Adams, if you're in Dynasty, I know he's available in some of the later wires. Nice little stash right there. I wasn't able to watch the game because I wasn't waking up that early, but he apparently looked good. I think
He played well. He had 9. He had, like you said, 9 carries for 61 yards. He looked good.
Yeah.
He looked really good. He really did look good. Like I would say he looked better than Smallwood on his limited carries. We'll see what they do though. That's a 3-headed monster right now.
Right.
Yeah, Dad, who are you looking to add this week?
I said it last week, and I picked him up 2 weeks ago because the Jets' backfield's a mess. Elijah McGuire, I'm picking up. I'm going to take my chance with him because Crowell and Cannon struggled against Chicago's defense. They combined for 35 yards and 19 carries. So, and McGuire should come off the IR this week. So he'd be my pickup of the week.
Gotcha. Anyone else you looking to add? One more for us?
Maybe Doug Martin from the Raiders.
I was going to throw him out there as well, Doug Martin.
I would take Martin over Richard right there.
Yeah,
he's still available.
Well,
I think
in PPR leagues, I don't know. Richard did get some catches, so it should be equal value, I think. And this matchup was more throw it heavy, so I think it leaned toward Richard. But he did get the carries even in a negative game script for the most part. So
Martin had 72 yards and he had 2 catches too for another 17 yards. So he had a pretty good game, much better than I thought. I actually added him in one league last week where I'm running back needy, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I added him too, and I also had Mostert, which I don't know what happened there. Only 2 carries yesterday. It hurt me. Up by 8 right now. He has Gronk. I'm hoping that Gronk's injury is going to limit him a little bit.
Did anyone do good in the running back for that team, for the Niners?
Breida looked decent off of his limited carries, but nothing really special there. The Niners.
They didn't use Alfred Morris again either, did they?
I don't think so. No,
Morris
really.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Breida looked really good. It'll be, well, hopefully he'll be healed for the next game and be back to a full workload.
He's definitely one of the toughest guys in the NFL, I feel like, too, because this guy's playing through injury and still putting up numbers. So props to Matt Breida for, I guess, dealing with all these lingering issues, but still looking better than Morris and other running backs in the league, especially Ronald Jones, who can't stay healthy. He's on the shelf for a few weeks with a hamstring injury. So I think Peyton Barber is going to be a little bit of a cheap volume play you can probably pick up. He's 46% owned. He has double-digit touches in 5 times in 7 games.
But even in that backfield with Fitzpatrick taking the helm again, they're not going to run that much because he's just going to chuck it, I think.
I'm thinking if you're
he also doesn't have a great schedule the rest of the way. If you look at it against the really easy run Ds, he's had 2 really good games. They only have one more team that they play like that the rest of the way. So I don't expect that much from Barber other than he's going to be the only guy.
Yeah, right. I'm hoping for at least 10 plus carries. If you're struggling for running back, like a lot, like I am.
Everybody.
Yeah, like everyone. As a Fournette owner and Dalvin Cook owner, I'm struggling. So there's that. And I'll throw out one more. I said it last week. I'm gonna say Devonta Freeman. He come back week 15. So if you're in one of your top 4 spots, almost guaranteed playoff, and your team's looking good, stash him on your bench, something cheap, and in case he does come back and sees the workload in week 15 to help you win the title. So on to wide receivers now. Dad, there's one guy I hope you say. It's an obvious one in my opinion, but who are you adding?
There's 2 guys that I like to add this week, but I'm going to give you the one because Miami is hurting right now for wide receivers, and Devontae Parker is back, and he's the only healthy guy there, and he looked pretty good this week. The only thing you got to worry about with him, I mean, he had 9 targets for 134 yards, but Kenny Stills is not going to be out that long with a groin injury, so we'll have to see what happens moving forward. But I like him. I like him going forward.
You like him going forward, Michael, Devontae Parker, or are you skeptical of all Miami wide receivers?
I'm a little skeptical because he's Devontae Parker.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of branches on that tree, right? There's
right.
Only a couple of guys are going to throw the ball to. I actually played Danny Amendola this week and was happy I did. I thought that Jakeem Grant would have a better game because they seem to be splitting that speedster role between him and Albert. And, without Wilson in, I figured, you'd see it all go to Jakeem Grant, and instead it all went to Devontae Parker. So
Yeah, and that
I
one really weird
figured
Madden glitch play, whatever that was, where it went into Grant's hands and then popped out 20 yards down the field to Parker. But we'll take those, I guess. And who are you looking to
yeah.
add on the waiver wire
So,
this week, Michael?
I think Kiki Kote is
Yeah.
is another guy you have to add if you have the opportunity. With Fuller out for the rest of the season, if his hammy's healthy, he's a guy who's going to get a lot of volume there. And we've seen that if Watson's healthy, that offense supports two wide receivers really easily. So I think he's a guy you'd want to look at. He's owned in, I think, 20% of Yahoo leagues. Everybody dropped him.
Yeah.
Got hurt.
Yep.
And then Terrell Williams is another guy. I think he's more touchdown dependent, but when a guy gets 118 yards 2 games in a row and has three TDs in that time frame, you have to take a look at him.
Have to, yeah. I'm gonna give two guys, and then after I get these two guys, I'm gonna run through some players, and you guys are gonna tell me if you're gonna add them or not. So my two guys, I'm saying DJ Moore. He's looking to get a part of this offense more. A little slow to bloom from earlier in the season, but he's been putting up numbers. He leads the way with 227 receiving yards, 119 yards after the catch. So I like that, and it may be because Smith's out, but hopefully they give this kid more usage because whenever he gets the ball, he's creating yards, and I think he helps Cam Newton out a lot. So I hope you're adding him, Dad. Are you adding DJ Moore?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had him before, and he'd done nothing the first few weeks, and then I dropped him.
Yeah, that's how
So
usually
everybody else. They have a really easy schedule for the passing offense the rest of the way too. I think buying Panthers pass catchers is a good idea.
Gotcha. And I'm also going to throw out Cortland Sutton. Rumors are Demaryius Thomas is 50-50 to get traded before the Wednesday deadline. I keep an eye on that. So if he does get moved before Wednesday, I'm putting in almost all my fab dollars if I have any left to get this guy because he will be number 2 in his offense behind Sanders. And he's been good with Demaryius Thomas in the lineup, so I can only imagine what would happen if Demaryius Thomas is gone. The upside, I think, is going to be unleashed, and he can pay dividends for your team down the road, down the stretch.
It looks like Keenum likes him a little bit more than Thomas as well. From the games that have already been played, he's probably a good add, especially if Thomas is gone.
They're saying he might go to New England, Thomas.
I know, either him or Golden Tate.
Yeah, Golden Tate's like, he doesn't even wear their trade rumors, but I guess it's all business, and we'll see. And of course, New England's going to get better because why wouldn't they?
Hey.
Now
they only have so many years left with this quarterback, There's not much time.
Hey, he still looks good. That's true.
He does.
Right. What about let's see. What are you gonna say, Michael? No, go ahead.
Yeah, what do you think of Christian Kirk?
If he's available, I'm adding him. I think that now with this new offensive coordinator and offense, I think both Fitzgerald and him are getting more targets. The whole offense is running more plays, it looks like. So
hope that happens to the Browns too.
Yeah, it's interesting. Unless they get Jeff Fisher, then I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I think that's the best thing that happened to the Browns was get rid of them.
Yeah, Hugh Jackson.
Let's see if they get somebody in here to manage this team because they got a lot of talent on that team.
Right now, it's looking like Jeff Fisher and Mike McCoy, who are both fired for a reason. So I don't really know if I want to see that, but we'll see. We'll see. Now, what about Traquan Smith? Big fan of him from a personal setting, but you guys adding him? A little down week, but if you're hurting for wide receiver depth.
Well, it's only a down week because Breeze didn't throw the ball that much, and they only got, I think, 10 fantasy points, which is odd. Yeah, I mean, I look at him to add him. Sure, especially if you need some wide receiver depth. I mean, he's hit or miss going forward. So Breeze has a lot of people to throw to. So it all depends on a week-to-week basis.
I already have him. I'm not looking to drop him. But he's somebody I think you could look to add as well. The volume will probably increase, but we'll see. That Ted Ginn role produced a lot of points last season. We'll see if it's the same way this year. I mean, he threw a lot of short passes. Talk about trick plays too. I mean, they did a lot of different things in that game last night that I haven't seen them do before.
Right. Like that was a shock for Breeze too. He didn't have much fantasy output at all.
Not a lot of volume. What about David Moore, who also doesn't have a lot of volume in the Seahawks, but the touchdowns, 4 touchdowns in 3 games. You guys picking him up? If you're hurting bad, I mean, I don't think you're picking him up if you have a short bench and have players already. But if you're hurting for wide receiver,
I think he's an ad if you're hurting.
yeah.
I have Tyler Lockett, and every time I sit him because the volume's so low, I regret it. So,
Yeah.
Yep. I hear you there. I just picked him up too, and I didn't play him.
What about Marquez Valdez-Scantling? He looks good for years to come, but this year we're talking about redraft leagues for the listeners who don't know.
I actually had him on my list to talk about with you guys. He's only owned in like 6% of Yahoo leagues.
Wow.
He's had 100 yards or a touchdown in each of the past 3 games. That's including the most recent game with Cobb back. I think he's a fixture in that offense right now. But again, they have a lot of weapons that they're spreading the ball around to, so this could end it at any moment. I don't think it's going to go to Cobb though. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think Cobb and him are going to be fighting for targets. I think Adams gets his 10 plus per game. Jimmy Graham probably gets at least 4, and then you split up the remaining targets between Scantling and Cobb. So I think Scantling has more big playability, even though Cobb is known to have those long touchdowns. I think it's more upside with Scantling than Cobb. So if you're looking for an upside flex play, I go Scantling over Cobb.
Yeah, that's another situation with a lot of mouths to feed. You don't know who's gonna. I mean, besides the main studs getting their targets, who they throw the ball to. Like I thought Meredith would be a great there too, and he was good for one game, and that was it.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say when they got that many people to throw to.
And then one last guy I wanted to talk about is Rashard Matthews, just signed by the Jets. What are you doing with him?
Nothing.
That's the answer I'm doing too. I'm not touching him, but people.
I love it.
Not a good player, I don't think, to add. I'm not looking to add him in any of my leagues because it's the Jets, and I can't trust Sam Darnold to target one guy consistently other than Quincy Enunwa, and he's not playing right now. So
yeah.
I can actually hope that everyone else in my league puts him high in their queue on the waiver so I can get somebody I want.
There you go.
There you go.
I like that. I like it.
And now tight ends, not a lot to talk about. I think there's one guy, and that's going to be Jack Doyle, who's only 25% owned, and not even surprised because he had 19 points and out-targeted Ebron just like I thought was going to happen. It was thought that he was going to be out longer than people expected because he kept on prolonging his comeback, but he came back week 8 unexpectedly, I guess you could say. It was like Thursday, and it was announced he was playing, and he had a good week, so.
He's been sidelined since week 2, so if anyone dropped him, I mean, now would be the time to pick him up. I don't know how much he's available. I don't think in any of our leagues he's available. I don't think anyone dropped him.
Because I have him.
Overall, he's available in 25% of the leagues. I mean, he's only owned in 25% of the leagues, so he's available in like 75% of the leagues on Yahoo. So he's available in a lot of places. One of my leagues, he's available. What do you have? 70 yards in a TD yesterday.
Yep.
They're gonna run 2 tight end sets. From some of the things I was reading this morning, Ebron's kind of dinged up, and that's why Doyle saw more targets. That's another place where they spread the ball around a lot. So I think he's a must-own for the position, Jack Doyle. But I would expect a little bit of a roller coaster with especially the TDs. Hopefully he can keep getting 6 or 7 targets a game, and then you'll be all set if you own him.
Yeah. Any tight ends you guys looking to add? There's not much available because the tight end position does suck this year. It's just completely awful. But if there's anyone you guys want to just say, go for
it. Jordan Thomas, if Griffin is still ill, might be worth a shot to play next week. With Fuller out and Griffin ill, he had 4 targets, 4 catches, 29 yards, and 2 DDs. So Watson trusts him in the red zone. And they don't have a lot of weapons to throw the ball to right now in Houston. So, depending on Griffin's health, he's somebody you might want to look at adding or playing in daily next weekend.
Yeah, that's a really cheap ad, and also is going to probably be low owned. So keep an eye out for that report on Ryan Griffin. I like that pick right there. Dad, anyone you looking at?
OJ Howard, if he's available. I doubt if he's available because he does play a lot better with Fitzpatrick throwing on the ball than Winston. So, but I doubt if he's available. But
Always
he might
check.
be out
Oh, yeah, always check. You could have some
because
lazy
the tight
owners.
end spot, all these guys are taken up because of all the injuries and just it's been a bad position all year.
Well, it's like playing Russian roulette, right? Hoping that you get the bang instead of hoping you don't get it with the tight end position. I read a lot of write-ups this morning about Chris Herndon as well. I wouldn't add him, but that's just me.
Yeah, no, it's not. Vance McDonald may be available. I don't know if he is, but it's always worth like a check. See the waiver wire. They're going against the Ravens, who have been so-so, allowing at least 15 points to the position 3 weeks running.
It's a disappointing position. You take these guys in the draft. Like I was so high on Jimmy Graham all year, and he's consistent, but he had one catch for 21 yards. He almost got in the end zone, was stopped short again, but he's got one touchdown. I mean, it's a tough position this year. The guys
very tough.
Big name guys are doing nothing. Gronk's doing nothing.
Yeah.
Out of the biggest name guys, Ertz and Kelsey are the only ones that are really producing?
I'd say those are the two that are consistent with it. Yeah, like every week you can count at least 50 yards and 5 catches, I feel like.
Speaking of guys I played in a lot of places, Njoku this weekend.
Oh my gosh, he hurt me too.
Extremely painful.
Yeah.
No catches. I think 4. He had 4 targets. I don't know if he had 4 targets. No catches though.
He had 1 target, no catches.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Well, that Pittsburgh
He
defense
ran 4 routes.
That
that's what I was
Pittsburgh
for,
defense was
actually.
much improved too.
But they're horrible against the tight end, and you didn't use the tight end against them.
Sometimes
you should have been fired for that.
Yeah, no, I could. Yeah, get the ball to Njoku. Njoku is fun to watch too. He's a young guy, plays with some heart. So I mean, Ed Dixon I think may also be available on some waiver wires, but that's chasing a touchdown. I don't know if I'd want to add him. Like I said, tight ends really disgusting. So.
Well, there was a few big write-ups by some of the big name fantasy guys on Hayden Hurst and Jeff Heuerman. Is that how you say his name?
I think so, yeah.
And if you look at their production, that's if there's nobody to add on the waiver wire and you're hoping to get at least 1 or 2 points out of the position, I think you're all set.
Yeah, there you go. So
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's going to do it for our waiver ads this week. Wasn't too long for our listeners. We got right to the parts and that we need to get to. No dilly-dallying. So thanks for coming on, Michael, on this Monday during your Patriots game.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks for having me. It was my pleasure. This is the first time I've ever been on a podcast.
I couldn't
You'll have to come back. You'll have to come back on.
Anytime, guys. It was a pleasure. It's like I've known you forever.
And where can people find you on Twitter? That's what.
At Mike Reedy FF. So it's MikeReedy FF.
Yeah, I'll have that link in the description below. So go check that out. Follow him on Twitter. We'll definitely have you back on, Michael. And thank you once again.
I hope you get lots of listeners as long as it's not guys from my league.
All right, that's going to do it for today's interview. Make sure you guys go follow Michael on Twitter. Definitely a cool guy and very similar, like I said, to all of you. We're going to be back with a week in review. We have a special guest coming on the show, Jesse Reeves. Can't wait for that. And we're going to discuss everything that happened in Week 8. And, yeah, we'll take you out now.